Hello YouTube viewers, I'm coming to you again with another 1911 disassembly video. This particular video is for the Colt Gold Cup in 22. This gun is made by Walther. It's imported by Umarex and licensed by Colt for distribution and manufacture and all that good stuff. The reason I'm making this video is because I purchased this gun, I bought it brand new, and I took it to the range and shot it, and I was very disappointed with it because the trigger pull was really hard. It had a very hard trigger pull, and the trigger was also rough and gritty, and I wanted to do a trigger job on it to smooth out the action a little bit and make the trigger pull a little lighter. But I had major difficulties in disassembling the gun, and one of the biggest problems with disassembling this, after you do the basic field strip, you have to remove the safety, and the safety is very hard to come out, and this is what I'm going to show you, how to remove the safety, plus strip the entire gun down to the frame. Now this is just going to be for the frame, not for the slide. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, one thing you may or may not want to do, it's not necessary but it's helpful, is to remove the grips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the camera off and remove the grips. Okay, so you don't have to watch me take 4 screws out. Okay, the screws are out, and I'm going to take the grips off. And just put them aside for right now. And the next thing we want to do is, with any firearm, we treat every firearm as if it was loaded. So we're going to make sure that the gun is unloaded. So we're going to remove the magazine, and we're going to pull the slide back, make sure that the chamber is clear. Which it is. There's no bullets came out. Everything looks good. And just to stick a light in here, I don't know if it's going to help. No bullet in there. Okay, at this point now we're going to do the basic field strip. Okay, to start with that, we want to make sure the hammer is cocked, and we're going to put the safety on. We're going to turn the gun so it's sitting on its back, and we're going to remove the plunger, plug, the spring, and the barrel bushing. To do that, just push this down, and now this is under spring tension, so be careful. Push this down, turn the barrel bushing, and we're going to slowly release the pressure on the plunger and the spring. And we're going to take the plunger and the spring out and put that aside. And I'm going to take the barrel bushing, we're going to turn this all the way around the other way and pull it back, or pull it out. Okay, we have the barrel bushing out. Now we're going to take the safety off, and we're going to pull the slide back till the slide stop notch lines up with the slide stop. Okay, and the next thing is we take, if your gun is new, you might want to take a punch and push the slide stop out. Once you have it lined up in this position, okay, you turn the gun over, take a punch, and push the pin out, and it comes out the other side. We'll put that aside, and now we're going to completely remove the slide. We pull it all the way back, and then lift the back end of the slide up and move the slide forward. And we take the slide off, and we're going to put that aside. Another piece that's going to come out of here is the guide rod, which sits right in here, and that you can just gently tap the gun, and it will fall right out. Now when your gun is new, there's going to be a lot of grease on here, and there's going to be a lot of grease inside here. If you can see that, I don't know, it's hard to see in here. Yeah, there we go. There's going to be a lot of grease inside this spot. I cleaned it out, as you can see. And now this is the basic field strip, what we have here. Okay, and the next part is to start the disassembly of the frame. And we're going to do that by first removing the safety. In order to remove the safety, one of the problems is, and this is sometimes very difficult, inside this tube there is a little plunger pin and a spring, and what you need to do is to completely compress this spring into the pin and the spring. You need to completely depress that into the plunger tube, into this tube, while you work the safety out. And this can be very difficult because this is a little pin and a little spring, and it will go flying across the room like you would not believe. And believe me, I've done this before many times, and I've searched for a half an hour trying to find these pieces, because when they go flying, and it's very hard to find. So what I did was, and in a minute I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and show you, I set up a backstop, and I'll show you. This is what my so-called studio looks like. This is being done in the dining room, and what I've done is I set up a towel, and over in here I made like a slope, because what I want to do is I want to be able to catch that spring and pin if it should go flying, and this is something I advise you to do. It's also on a towel, so it's going to be easy for it to catch it, because it has all the little fuzzy things on it the towels have. Okay, let me put the camera back and we'll continue with the disassembly. Okay, I got the camera back. Now, something that I did was, and something you're going to need, is I have a precision or jeweler's screwdriver, which I'm going to use to push that pin in, and I've taken and put a piece of duct tape on the end of the screwdriver bit, and I put the duct tape on there in order to avoid scratching the gun, because if you just use a screwdriver without any kind of protection on it, I guarantee you're going to scratch the gun. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I already have a scratch on here, right here, from doing this. Now fortunately the grips cover it up pretty much, and you can't really see it anymore, but regardless, it's still there. So what we're going to do now is, I'm going to try to zoom this in as close as I can so you can get a really good close-up bird's eye view of this. Okay, and remember, and if you remember how I have my backstop set up, the spring is going to be pointed that way towards the backstop if it should come flying out. What we're going to do is we now take the safety off. Okay, and if you notice, this pin popped out a little bit. Now when your gun is new, you may have to take and turn the gun over and push on this pin right here, and just a little bit, just to get it started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block this up a little bit, and I'm going to take my hammer and punch and see if I can get it started just a little bit. notice the safety did pop out just a hair. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little bit of space right in between here now. So I'm going to take the gun, lay it on the side again. Now the barrel is facing towards me. Okay, and now comes the fun part. We have to take the screwdriver and dig it in here and compress this pin all the way. And it's really tight. Okay, now I have the pin in all the way. I'm going to take a fingernail and my thumb and try to work the safety back and forth while I'm still holding this pin in. And I'm trying to pull this out. Let's try using my other hand. Now I just lost that. There it goes. So you have to wiggle the safety up and down and pull out at the same time. Now, once you have it in this position, you're going to be very excited that you got it out, and you're going to release tension on this screwdriver, and the pin's going to go flying. Avoid doing that. Take the safety all the way out, and then slowly release the pin. Okay, and I know I have a pair of tweezers around here someplace. Here they are. And we're going to pull this pin out and the spring. And it's two tiny little pieces, as you can see here. There's the pin and there's the spring. And just to show you how small this are, you can imagine how big it is because of my hand. But let me zoom this back out, and you can see how small these parts are. And they, believe me, they will go flying if you don't hold them back. Okay, so we're going to take these, put them aside. For reassembly. Okay, now at this point, when you pull the safety out, the grip safety loosens up, but it really doesn't want to come out because it's being held in by the mainspring housing. So we're going to have to remove the mainspring housing. So we're going to block the gun up again and get a punch. And put the punch in here. Now, something I want to point out to you is I replaced this pin with a standard 1911 pin. This is not the same pin that comes with the gun.